Hello, good people. Glad to know you're watching this new edition of the press review on JDCPlus TV. Newspapers today focus on diverse issues. We begin with Newswatch. The bi-weekly newspaper reports in its main headline news that government reactivate plot to dissolve the Cameroon Renaissance Movement Party, says it is also closely reviewing the situation of the president of the opposition party, Professor Maurice Kamto, who could see his judicial case file revisited. According to what the paper writes on page 3 of today's edition, a good number of the party's supporters are in police custody, including bigwigs after Tuesday's September 22 protest to oust the current president of the republic, Paul Biya. The leader, on his part, is reported to have been blocked at his residence since the day of the protest marches. For more on this, grab a copy of Newswatch, published this Monday, September 28, and read page 3. We stay with Newswatch to talk Kumba City mayoral election rerun. The paper says the tussle is on and there is a tough battle ahead of Victor Kelengo, current city mayor, as Supreme Court orders election rerun. Newswatch says that Meme CPDM are in camps over the choice of a candidate as the population keep pressing hard for change. This same story finds voice on the media newspaper. The paper carries as main headline news, as court orders election rerun, what fate awaits Victor Kelengo as Kumba councillors will be electing a new mayor in 30 days. The media adds that Greg Mewonu, who petitioned the court for the cancellation of the election, says it is not time for celebration yet. More on these on page 3. In other news, the media talks about the newly created National School of Local Administration NASLA in Boyer, southwest region of Cameroon, and says though created with equal status with the National School of Administration and Magistracy (NAM), NASLA will run on a tight budget of francs CFA 2.3 billion. Meanwhile, NAM has francs CFA 4.5 billion. It adds that the board members of NASLA have called on the government to do more if the institution should live up to billing. The Guardian Post newspaper voices this same budget worry. It highlights that the Boyer-based National School of Local Administration, with the same status as NAM and even more challenges, has been allocated half the budget of NAM, a situation which, according to the paper, has caused keen watchers on the policy in the country to conclude that this takeoff of the school amid budgetary issues is by no way an isolated case of the long-standing perceived marginalization of Anglophones in Cameroon. And the question we make out of this story from the Guardian Post is to know how the mission of the school will be attained with the meager resources placed at the disposal of management. From the Guardian Post, let's move on to the Post newspaper. The paper says the scheme of the CPDM to lord over Cameroonians for generations has been exposed. It highlights that fanning ethnic hatred, demonizing certain people and placing their children in strategic positions will help them retain power the more. As highlighted in another point, the party's communications secretary has said the document is fake. For more details on this, get the copy of today's edition of the Post newspaper. And to end this press review, let's take Le Gideon newspaper, which reports on the perils of journalists reporting on conflicts in Cameroon. The paper compiled the experiences of a host of journalists trapped in the crossfire to read in its columns. And that was the package we kept for you today. As far as this edition of newspaper review was concerned, a big thank you for watching. On to our next edition.